Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back on the Mike Premier Business Radio program around. I'm your host, Mike King. Appreciate you being here with me. We're coming to you today from Midas Richmond. We are on the Boulevard. This is part of the BBB. This is their segment. Shout out to my man Barry Moore. So on the mic with Mike is the radio program. It is part of the Mike King Biz Radio Network, which is ESPN Richmond 106.1, the choice every day from 2 to 3 p.m., as well as International Business Group Radio. You can follow me on all social platforms. One of we highlight partnership people. We also talk about social enterprise, how business helps society be better. Today, we're coming to you from Midas. So if we're coming to you from Midas, we got the man in the building with us, Mark Smith. Welcome to the program, sir.
Thanks, Mike. Happy to be here.
Alrighty, so Mike, you don't need any introduction, but it's a business show. Tell everybody who you are and what you do.
I'm Mark Smith. I own and operate the 5 Midas stores here in Central Virginia.
That's it?
That's it.
Man, you do a lot more than that. That's the foundation of it. And we're going to start off with me banging on your door years ago and from 2016 saying, hey, I'm Mike King. I got a great idea. There's a couple of things I learned from you. One, no is not a 4-letter word.
No, it's not a 4-letter word.
And then maybe not now, but later. People know you, and I always talk about changing the world isn't cheap, easy, or free. So money has to change hands sometime. Effort has to change hands a lot of the times. Talk about that as a foundation for you and Midas and what that means, because people see you as that person in the community.
Well, I'm a big believer, Mike, as you know, in the idea that nothing changes until something changes, right? So we've got things out here we need to do. We've got kids we need to feed. We've got nonprofits we need to support. We've got people out there working in our community that need our help. And so when we find synergies and we find ways to engage that, that's what we try and do with Midas of Richmond, is take a car care experience and turn it into a community care experience as well.
So you're taking a car care experience, something that people do every day, have to get car work done, but people trust in you to make that happen and be a part of the community doing it.
I hope to think so. We've done this now 23 years. I think we've set a track record with Feed More, with Gooch and Cares, with Shalom Farms, with Ask, with all the nonprofits we support. We've done that now long enough that I think there's some credibility to it. My people believe in it, my people invest in it, and it works for everybody.
There's a number of things. So we're here as part of the Better Business Bureau. Barry Moore's out there, the chief guy, talking about trust in an organization. That's big for the Better Business Bureau being an accredited business, but it's also for you that you come up with a program, an idea, plan, and people believe in you. Let's talk about the milk donation program.
So
and
every Friday,
come to you with the idea of, here, I'm going to give you this, and let's make magic happen, because they know you will.
Every Friday we deliver 50 gallons of fresh milk. 25 of it goes to Gooch and Cares. 25 of it goes down to the Colonial Heights Food Pantry. That's about $190 worth of milk. And about once a month, somebody comes along and says, hey, I'd like to pay for the milk this week. And by the way, can I ride along? Those are fun mornings. It's every Friday morning. People are really getting behind it. We've collected tens of thousands of dollars to support it, and it seems to be working.
What's it feel like when you have something like that? It's an idea, and then all of a sudden the idea takes hold and it works.
I think everybody's got ideas, Mike, and I think for whatever reason, you come up with a good idea and then you start talking yourself out of it. This won't work because, this won't work because, what if? I go kind of the other direction. We're going to try ideas out. Some are going to work better than others. Some aren't going to work at all. But if you work these things out and you build around them, sooner or later you come up with things that work. And that's kind of how we've built Community Network that Midas Richmond's known for.
When you look at that community now, has it changed any what you see and what people deal with now as opposed to, say, 20 years ago or 15 years ago?
Oh, it's changed it sooner than that. COVID. I think COVID has rewritten so many rules, some of which we kind of have our heads around, and some of which we probably still don't. 3 years from now, we're going to be talking about this big COVID impact, how it changed how we do business, how it changed how we market, how it changed how we go about market share. Change is kind of a constant. It's a given. So you've got to be willing to kind of look at what you do and adapt as you go along to accommodate whatever's coming your way.
When we talk about COVID, we also talk about employees. One of the things I noticed, and I looked up when people looked up and said, wow, Midas is offering a crazy number as a signing bonus. Which, from a marketing standpoint, that's a new phenomenon that we have right now. What have you learned coming out of COVID now on the other side of it that before you never did before, and now also, I know you've always been people centric.
Mhm.
A lot of businesses are just starting to get to that idea. But now they're looking at it saying, I have to even double down more.
Mike, I don't care what business you're in. If you're a broadcaster, if you're fix cars, if you're a restaurant, if you're a dentist's office, in my head, I've always thought everybody's in the people business. I'm only as good as my people. Unfortunately, I've got great people around me. The experiences they choose to create for our clients kind of define what Midas is. My job is to sit in the back, but I think we're all in the people business. And what COVID has taught me anyway is you can't communicate enough. You know, when COVID started and there was all the uncertainty and everything that went along with it, I was in the stores 2 and sometimes 3 times a day, just being a cheerleader. You know, we don't know what we don't know. We're open. Let's be smart. Let's be cautious, but let's keep taking advantage of the fact we've got jobs to do, and let's do it.
You always think so. One of my here, mine is with Mark Smith, where this is part of the Better Business Bureau. People trust you, and that's part of the Better Business Bureau mantra. How long have you been part of the Better Business Bureau, and what's the real draw to it from your standpoint?
It's one of the more, if not the most credible business organizations in Central Virginia. It's got a great brand recognition. Now with Barry at the helm, I'm completely reinvesting because I totally believe in Barry and the work he's done. I've known Barry a long time. And when he came back around and took his new role, that just made me reinvest that much further. We've been a part of the BBB since I've been in business here in Richmond, Virginia in '98. I was on the board for a while. It's a good group of people making a big impact in Central Virginia, and it kind of gives any business a credible basis to align with.
We don't know a lot of times what the Better Business Bureau is, but when you see the 3 letters, it gives you a sense that they're out there doing something that's good. So Mike King, Mark Smith is here with us. I've sat down with you a couple of times here, talked about business, and you always seem to be on the cutting edge, the front end of things. So we talked in the past about female and women in this industry. You ran a commercial, your wife was in it, and I remember things like that. Let's talk about what the empowerment of females and women in the industry, opportunities, and the part that it plays for you guys.
I mean, it's a great example, Mike, Scott's Edition. We've got 2 ladies that run Scott's Edition. Brittany and Tanya are my store management team here in Scott's Edition. Tanya's been with me for 15, 18 years. She's grown up from a general service technician. She now runs a 7-figure service center. I love having women in our world because historically the car care situation with women, they come in concerned. Like, I get taken advantage of. What if? And I've always thought having 2 or 3 or 4 women in each of our locations hopefully disarms that a little bit. The ladies you meet that wear the Midas Richmond brand have been with me a long time, and they help kind of establish some basis of credibility, I feel, for our experiences.
One of the things that on the program I always talk about is credibility and culture. How do you set that culture? And I remember before when you talked about benchmark or competition. See, I remember stuff that you tell me. It's the benchmark. You are not in the competition with other people who do what you do.
No.
You look at the best organization and say, what are they doing? How do you set the culture to be winning? And does it always have to come from the top? Or can there be a groundswell of people saying, we want a better culture here? Or do those people just leave?
I think it's a little bit of everything you just said. I mean, my people know I've got a wide open door if they want to come in with ideas to share and things to share. I think it's important that I lead by example. I kind of get out, set the example, show what I'm talking about. When we come up with people we compare ourselves to, the Union Square Hospitality Group, the Cleveland Clinic, things like that. You know, here in town, you've got some great experiences with Gary and Puritan Cleaners, Saxon Shoes, some others. You've got great people doing business here. And if you look around, you can always glean something from somebody.
Where do you get that next generation of you guys from? You know, of the people who are good corporate citizens, people who understand what I always say, business can help society be better. Where do you get that from in the next generation of entrepreneurs who are out there?
You're constantly talking about it. I've got the good fortune to speak at area schools, and I talk to the students. You know, you are the next generation. I'm not kidding anybody. I've got more days of Stern than I do ahead of me.
Yeah, that's for sure.
So you talk to young people, you set the example, you show them the power of the possible. Think about the cultures, Mike, that when you and I were kids versus now, you know, it was a lifetime employment. It was this, it was that. That's all out the door.
Yeah, it is.
You've got to go out, find opportunities, create opportunities, and when you become a part of it, genuinely invest in it to make the most in it for everybody.
And inside the organization, how do you groom leadership? How do you groom like the next generation? How do you go from being a general service technician to running the place?
Tanya is studying perseverance. She's gone up levels, she's gone up skill sets, and she's done that all of her own volition. We create the opportunity, but I can't make people walk through doors. You know, if you want to come in and grow, we will create the avenue that allows you to grow. But growth is a choice. I can't force you to grow. I can create situations and opportunities within the stores that you can explore, and if you like them, you pursue them.
When, as I said, I banged on your door ever since I got here in 2016. Mark, I got a great idea. I'm sure you get it. Somebody comes here and say, hey, Mark, you know what, man? I got this mediocre idea. Why don't you take a listen? I mean, no, everybody has a great idea.
Yeah, everybody's got a better mousetrap.
Everybody does. Sometimes it's tied to nonprofit. Sometimes it is tied to business opportunities, whether it's advertising. Like with me, pound on the door, hey, I got a great program here. How do you determine and pick which nonprofits to? We can see the ones that, you know, that we think that you always supporting. Feed More is one, Shalom Farms, Groups and Cares. How do you pick those or the next ones that say, hey, these touch my heart. I gotta do something for them.
The same way I pick my people, conversations. You talk to people, you feel them out, you vet them a little bit, you see how credible they run their organizations, you see how credible their mission is. It doesn't take long, it doesn't take many questions to kind of see through what's there. There are some incredible organizations operating here in Central Virginia to make impact on our community every day. This is one of those cases, Mike, and you and I have talked about this before. Unfortunately, there's some finites here. You know, there's a finite amount of time and a finite amount of funding. And while it would be great to add this one and this one and this one, I can either make a big impact with the ones we choose to support, or I can kind of dilute that all. I choose to keep the list a little shorter, but to make a bigger impact. You know, this summer, for instance, we're sending 80 kids with cancer to summer camp through Ask, Amy and her group. It's a great group. This is the first time they've had an in-person summer camp in 3 years. These kids are fighting cancer, so they're kind of isolated anyway. But the idea now that we can underwrite them getting back into it this year, I'm going to get behind that every day. Every day.
That, you know, it's something. So did you always look at that amount? So my father was in his own business, so, and I grew up with that. And you know the routine, on Monday, the Girl Scout team comes by. I tell people, if you're not looking for that business owner who you make that direct connection with, because there's a finite amount of dollars. The dollars are gonna go by Wednesday, you know, we've given that all. You need the business owner who goes under the mattress to get that money. Because that's the one who, you know, who it's a special relationship. When you look at the nonprofits who are out there, you can see the ones that really run smoothly, and those are the ones. So size doesn't matter. Did you always have a finite number, or did you, were you ever into a little here, a little there, a little there, a little there? Were you ever into that model? Or
Not
you
really.
always wanted to have the big impact?
You know, we started with Virginia Blood Service in 2001. Now it's the Red Cross. And then out of that, we morphed into our relationship with the Central Virginia Food Bank, which is now Feed More. And it's always just kind of grown organically. You know, Shalom Farms, we got turned on to by Feed More. Goochland Cares, we got turned on to because we live in Goochland. So it's all just kind of been a fit and play. And then you get to know who you're dealing with, you work with them, you find out how you can help them make as big an impact as they can make in their mission, and you get behind it.
What's it feel like when you're out and somebody says, hey, Mark, you take this money, I know that you're gonna do the right thing and help the person with it? Is there people who are trying to, with this radio program and this platform, that's exactly what I'm trying to do. I tell people, if you're not looking for your Mark Smith, who loves your organization, you're always gonna be out with a cup saying, how do we make this happen the next time? How do we make, because it's always gonna be transactional.
I warn people, and when I speak at schools, when I speak, I talk about BSOs, bright, shiny objects. The nonprofit world is filled with them. You know, unfortunately, somewhere tomorrow, there's going to be an earthquake, or there's going to be a tsunami, or there's going to be this, or there's going to be that. And then poof, Bill Clinton and George Bush are going to show up on TV and say, please send money here. I want Central Virginia taken care of. That's my mission. My mission is to keep our nonprofit dollars and support local. It's terrible what happens in other parts of the world, but I don't live in other parts of the world. I live in Richmond. I want to make an impact here, and I want to help people make an impact here and show them that if they want to, they can.
All right, you're listening to Mark Smith. It's on the mic with Mike, RV's best business, well, the only daily business radio program around. So I always say changing the world ain't cheap, easy, or free. Sir, this is the sales pitch time for Minus Richmond. What do you guys have going on now? You see the loaner cars out all over the place. You see all the things that you guys have done during the pandemic. What do you guys have going on now?
We're up to 55 loaner cars, Mike, and I'm buying more. Yeah, I laugh too. I never thought, I remember when I had 10 and I thought, how could I ever need more than 10? Now I've got 55 and I'm buying more. We're full car care, you know, oil changes to engines, we do it all. We hope to be people's car care provider of choice. We've got our 5 locations. It's the same faces you've always seen at them, where people don't turn over. And it's just a fun part to be a group to be a part of.
And how can people find Minus Richmond out there?
Give us a call, 804-360-2211. That's our pump store. They'll direct you where you want to go. If you want to talk to me directly, 804-240-1066. It's always on. Give us a buzz.
A while back, I talked to the CEO of Elephant Insurance, and I asked him, what was the one big thing that you guys learned from the pandemic? He said he was sure remote working wouldn't work. He said 100% he knew it wouldn't work. 2-3 weeks into it, okay, I understand it's working. What did you learn coming through the pandemic that right now you guys are saying, boy, that really helped, even though it was hard before?
To zig when everybody else was zagging. So early on, you know, February, March of 2020, everybody was scared. We didn't know what we were facing. There was news about fatalities and this and that and the other. By April, May of 2020, I kind of started seeing everybody running scared, duck and cover. I called our marketing guy and said, we're going the opposite direction. We're going back in. Let's double our radio flighting and let's add a 4th TV station, which we did. And we've stuck with that course, we've stuck that path, and business is booming. I'm happy to say we've got more than we can deal with.
Is that when you went to the marketing campaign and we'll bring the cars to you and leave the...
More to your door, yep. We went right after it and we've reaped the benefits of it. We have more business than we can handle, which is either a good, bad problem or a bad, good problem, I don't know. But we're, as you can see, the bays are full and we're rocking.
On the mic, Mike Marcus here. So we'd like to thank you. Anything words of wisdom for nonprofits or business owners out there? Really quickly before we go, let's talk about, you know, making magic happen, making dreams happen. Entrepreneurs are out there. They're going through a period. They wanted to jump into the deep water, like me. Even though I grew up with the family, we always owned our business. I had no burning desire. I was good as a salesperson. There's a lot of stuff out here, you know, when you're the guy, you know, it's a lot different. So which words of wisdom or something can you give to entrepreneurs who are out there? Maybe they're going through a tough time, or maybe they're just thinking about pulling the trigger.
You know, get a network. The best thing I've got going for me, Mike, is a network of people I talk to. You certainly among them. Barry and his team at Feedmore at BBB, the Virginia Council of CEOs I'm a big part of, my own network inside the stores. If you've got an idea, run with it. Get people out there to listen to you. Get people out there to build a relationship and a network with. Mentor when you can. I'm happy to say I mentor several kids and I really enjoy it. But kind of be the change you seek. And I think you'll pleasantly surprise yourself with what you can create.
There you go. Word from Mark Smith. Mike King here. This is part of the Barry Moore. This is Barry Moore's time. The man Barry Moore. This is 5 a.m. on Monday. We kicked the week off right with Barry Moore here. He also has an outstanding facility. When Barry Moore came back to Richmond, I'm like, okay, I'm on board. He's the man. He was giving me tips when I was over at the TV station that I always remember. And look at me now. Here I am.
There you go.
Sitting with Mark Smith. On the Mike King here, part of the Mike King Biz Radio Network. Make sure you go check out my man, Barry Moore. They have facilities up there. Trust in the organization, trust in business at the foundation. We'll talk to you soon. As I always say, the microphone ain't free, plus my grandkids need stuff. So make sure you take a listen to our sponsors and advertisers. Gotta show some love to the folks out there.
Absolutely.
That's how we do it here. When Mike, we'll talk to you soon. Thanks, now. Take care.
Take care, folks.